Hi there, I want to share with you 3 things that you must never do when you're depressed. Stay tuned. I'm Jay from The Unbreakable Entrepreneur, and today I want to share with you 3 things you must never allow to happen if you want to recover from depression quickly. And just a few words, who am I to talk about depression? Well, I had close and personal encounters with depression for over 30 years now. Yeah, nearly 30 years. So I nearly died on at least 2 occasions. And the reason why I didn't was because I'm a researcher. And so things that I found out helped me basically survive and get over it, get out of it, and actually make sure that it doesn't happen again. And so this is something that I want to share with you today. So thing number 1 is don't let other people take advantage of you. As soon as people sense that there is something wrong, they may offer advice, or even if you go to someone, say a specialist, sometimes what they're trying to do, they are maybe telling you that they're trying to help, but really they're trying to turn the situation to their advantage somehow. And I'm not saying they necessarily do it out of malice and they're trying to have you over, but what they sometimes do is that if they feel that you're depressed, they will try and give you certain advice or a certain course of action that perhaps they believe in, but really they're just taking advantage of you. There are lots of therapists and healers that would not really look deeply into your issue, that would not even try and discover what is the cause of your state. They will just label you with a mental illness and tell you to do certain things regardless whether they're right for you or not. And I've seen this so much. This is actually I find it really upsetting on a very personal level because I see so many guys being taken advantage of that system. And the reason why I'm making these videos for you is to help you find a better alternative, because there is a better alternative. And I'm not saying like if you love the idea of going to therapy, by all means, just go for it. But if you don't, I want you to know that you don't have to. That you don't have to live with that awareness of someone who struggles with their mental health and has to go to therapy for months or years, or have to take medications for it. Because, well, obviously there are many different kinds of depression and they stem from different sources. But the one I'm talking about right now, and the one that affects our tribe the most, is that depression that comes from the kind of an inflammation in your mind. In other words, there is, say, metaphysical, spiritual friction between the different parts of your mind, the conscious and the subconscious mind. And that friction causes this kind of a mental inflammation that starts as an inner conflict, an inner war. And then it goes deeper and it can also affect the body, and the body starts feeling unwell or starts feeling off sorts. So this is what is happening. And you can, and I would say should, well, it's up to you obviously, but if you can do it much quicker and safer and with more powerful results, I would advocate for that. So I would say, don't necessarily trust what other people are telling you, even if they are therapists or healers, because sometimes, not always, but sometimes they may have a hidden agenda. So do check it out. And I know when you're depressed, it's hard to really think clearly because there is this brain fog and tiredness and lack of focus. I get it. But for the sake of your own recovery, peace of mind, strength, and actually spiritual independence, I would say take a closer look at who it is you are going to trust with your recovery, and find someone who really has your benefit in mind and your best interest in mind, and not their agenda or their profit. So that's point number one. Point number two, beware of people trying to label you, or even yourself trying to label you as someone with a mental health issue or someone who is ill. Because, there is a lot of pressure right now to perceive depression as a mental disability of sorts, as something that you would have to live with and cope with, possibly for years or even till the end of your life. And I'm telling you, that depends on what it is. And this kind of depression that affects our tribe, entrepreneurs, people in business, movers and shakers, those who want to change the world and make it a better place. We have a very specific kind of depression that plagues us. As I explained, is this kind where your conscious and your subconscious mind disagree with each other. And it's super serious. It really is something that can screw you over if you keep it going. And if you leave it on the back burner and say, oh yeah, I just need to focus on my business, I'm going to attend to that later. That is usually never going to go away until you sort it out. But the good news is you can sort it out. It's like light flashing on your dashboard. It's something that is telling you, hey, you need to pay attention right there. So imagine if you're driving a car and there is an indicator saying that your gas or your fuel is low. And if you just don't pay attention to it and keep driving, eventually you will run out of fuel. And so with your mind, it's the same. If you don't pay attention to what it's trying to tell you, eventually you can grind yourself to a halt. And before that happens, you actually can change your course of action. You see what I mean? It's not something you have to live with. As soon as you realize what that message is, what that indicator is trying to tell you, you can act on it and you can fix it. Our ego loves following the bling, so to speak. And I mean the social bling. So our ego may try and push us in a direction that is not right for our spiritual growth, that is not right for our soul evolution and soul mission. And we are born here for a reason. So it's not like you're randomly born in this random times and there is absolutely nothing to do with who you are as a person. That's not true. Because you are who you are and because you have this unique gift to share with the world, you were born in this particular place, in this particular time. And you may not remember that, but your soul does. And so it's trying to push you or nudge you to do what you were here to do, what you were born here to do. And the ego, on the other hand, loves that spiritual bling. It loves the Lamborghinis and big houses and lots of yachts and whatever else. And I'm not just saying on the financial level or on the material level, but it loves achieving a certain position in society. It loves certain names and labels and titles that you can achieve. And of course you can, because you have the power to manifest your dreams into reality. But if you are using that power to serve the ego rather than the soul, this is where the problem is coming from. And by the way, if you feel stuck, if you feel overwhelmed by how am I going to discover this, I'm here to help. And you can just talk to me, just book the call below and I can help you discover what the problem is. You can actually start with this book I've got, The Unbreakable Entrepreneur. I'll drop the link below. But what I'm trying to tell you is that this first step, if you have enough patience, you can even perform yourself. You can sit down with yourself and you can start analyzing what it is that your ego wants and what it is that your soul wants and what is the gap between these desires. And as I said, it can take a long time. So if you want to speed up this process, you can just talk to me. But this problem lies at the core of what causing this mental inflammation. By the way, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I actually read them personally and I reply to them personally as well. So stopping that mental inflammation should be a first step. And say just that. Don't allow people to put that label on you that, oh yeah, he's someone who's suffering from mental health issues. Don't treat it as such. This is because our mind actually takes everything that you think or say literally. And so if you start believing that you are affected by a mental health issue, guess what? You are going to manifest that, and you don't want that. So be careful what you allow yourself to believe, and only believe in things that are empowering you. So for example, one of the easiest tricks, mental tricks, is even when you're physically ill, you don't say to yourself, oh, I'm ill. You say, I'm recovering, I'm getting better. And this mental shift does a lot. So instead of thinking, oh, I'm affected by some mental illness, mental health issue, say to yourself, I'm just looking for a way to stop this mental inflammation, and I'm on my way, I'm succeeding. And this is a very powerful statement to send to your mind. And this is going to speed up your recovery, because as you think, you become. And now, step number 3 is about your environment, because it's very easy to slip into that mode of listening to sad music, watching sad films, or even interacting with people who are also not feeling 100%. And although that commonality may be tempting, try to avoid it as much as you can. And this is because we are energy beings having this spiritual experience. So everything around us is energy. And if you surround yourself with the energy of sadness, of grief, of despair, of depression, guess what? It's going to reflect back to you. And so even if your mind says, oh, it's so comforting to just listen to this very sad song or just watch this sad movie on YouTube, stop it right there and explain to your mind that for your recovery, you actually need the opposite. You need bright colors, you need lots of light, expose yourself to sunshine as much as you can and as much as it's healthy in your case. Talk to people who are uplifting, motivating, who have lots of amazing ideas. And that energy exchange by itself is going to make a massive difference, because I'm going to share this secret with you. And it's actually the secret that underlines all kinds of depression that people may experience. Because at the root of the issue lies the feeling of being disconnected from your true power. In other words, you are actually feeling disempowered. You're feeling less than you should be. And this is the core issue to solve if you want to get rid of your depression for good and never experience it again. Because once you understand what are the roots of the way you're feeling, the kind of disempowerment that you're experiencing right now. And I know it can be very tricky, because especially if you've made it financially, if you have a business that generates a healthy profit, if you have all those status symbols, say expensive cars, go to expensive hotels and things like that, people are almost struggling to feel compassion to you, because they are like, how dare you feeling bad, having all those status symbols, having all this amazing, glitzy, glorious life that many people aspire to and dream about. And it's really difficult to explain even to yourself. And I know it may trigger some sense of guilt. It's like, why am I feeling this way? Like, I've got it all. But from your soul's perspective, that is not true power. So even if you have amazing social connections, lots of money, lots of influence, your soul has very different criteria of what it means to be empowered in your specific case, because you're unique. So something that may work marvelously for someone else may not necessarily be right for you. So If you are feeling depressed, your soul is telling you that you are not in your life where you're supposed to be, that you are feeling less than you are deep down, that you're feeling disempowered, that you are perhaps limiting yourself in some way that you don't even realize consciously. And I mean, it's all can be discovered. That's the whole point of this healing journey. So you discover more about yourself and you step into your personal power. So the key takeaway, remember, point number 1, don't let other people take advantage of you. Point number 2, don't allow yourself or anyone else label you as a victim of a mental health issue. And point number 3, avoid energy resonance with negative energy. So surround yourself with positive energy, with sunlight, with positive people who are going to bring you up. And the key point to remember is that depression means that your soul feels disempowered. Find out what it is and it will solve the issue. That's all from me for today. Check out this book and it's amazing. I mean, people love it. So check it out and talk to you soon. Any questions, drop them in the comments below. And if you want to talk to me, I'm going to post a link in the comments. You can book your call, it's free, and let's start your journey.